Every day I hear about more and more people prepping and wanting to buy bug out bags, and I get more and more comments asking, bug out bag this, prep this. So I want to do a quick 10 categories for your bug out bag. Now, don't expect a checklist. I'm not going to go into real specifics based on, um, you know, the demographics of where you live. Us here in the desert, our bug out bags are going to be different than what you might have up in the hill country or even different countries. So I just want to touch on 10 categories rather than actual specific items, just to get you thinking about what you might need for yourself. Just a couple ideas that'll get the gears in your brain turning and help you put together what you might be successful with. One of the most important things to you and your survival is obviously going to be to stay hydrated. So, this picture you'll see a couple options, including a bladder that's concealable within a bug out backpack. Most of the popular, bug out style or the 3 day style packs have a specific slot where you can put a water bladder. That's in the top right. In the bottom left, you're actually going to see something called a life straw. There's going to be a link to the life straw in the description of this video. There's going to be links to a lot of items in the description of this video for you guys to go click on and check out. But the life straw is about $20, and their claim is that you can drink from any source of water that's not poisonous or radioactive. And I've included another image on the bottom right that shows the filter process that happens inside the life straw as you're drinking. Like I said, they're about $20. Definitely worth having. A couple other things that are going to be crucial to your hydration are things like a fire source, like a stove, and a pot, so you can boil water to take with you. Obviously, because if you just have the life straw, that's great for drinking at the water source, but you're gonna have to be able to take some water with you. So some water that you can boil and put into your bladder, or some iodine pills that you can drop into your bladder with some water to help that process go along. But I don't know about you guys, but personally, where I live, it gets up to 112 degrees. So say that you were going to have to bug out during the summer months, you're probably half a day before dehydration and things like that start setting in. I know statistically you're looking at 3 days without water to survive, but realistically I think that in places with critical heat you're going to be much before that, starting to get delirious and delusional. So big one everybody needs to look at and you need to figure out is your hydration situation. Next thing you're going to be looking at is obviously food. Now, all my veterans are going to be looking at this picture and see the MRE, which stands for Meal Ready to Eat. This is commonly what's issued in the military for when you're going to eat. However, you're away from the base, or you're out in a field operation. Now, depending on the style, these meals come in probably 30 different configurations, meaning what's in them, what flavor, what type of meal the main course is, etc. And depending on which one you get, they range from about 3,500 to 5,000 calories per pouch. So the idea isn't to eat the whole thing in one sitting. It's easy to do because the way that they've designed these is it's a small amount of food, but it's absolutely packed with calories. The reason, now, I know a lot of guys who do bug out and preps and stuff like that really like the dehydrated style food, like Mountain House does an assortment, and different stuff that you add boiling water or you add water and cook it. Now, those are great, but depending on the situation, like I said, you could be without um, potable water for an unknown amount of time. So having a meal that you are required to have potable water to create could cause an issue. The nice thing about the MRE is the only water it needs is to activate the heat pack that actually heats up the food. Um, which again isn't essential because you can still eat the thing cold. And also, it doesn't necessarily have to be potable water because the heating element to the meal doesn't ever touch your food. It touches the outside of the foil pack that the food is in. So that's kind of why I'm a proponent of the MREs over the the dehydrated style camping meals. Now, an MRE definitely has enough calories to last you a full day. So, you can break it open and snack throughout the day, but also some good quality protein bars that are not high in sugar, I think are a must, just for your cargo pocket to to give you a little extra boost when you don't want to sit down for a whole meal. What you're going to see here is my recommendation for your sleep system. This is called a bivy sack. It's rather than carrying an entire tent and having to pitch a tent, take it down, and the footprint and visibility to others that a tent may create. What this is, it's basically a sleeping bag made out of a tent that you put your sleeping bag into, and it kind of makes like a cocoon. Now, um, I know a lot of guys are probably looking at this and thinking, "Oh, my whole family can't fit in that." You're right. This is a one person thing. So you got two options. You can either get one of these for each of your family members, or you can face the reality that your family members may not be with you anymore. That could be for a number of reasons. Maybe you were separated when the event occurred. Maybe your family members just aren't up to it, aren't up to the combat and the level of lifestyle that you're about to endure. So, that's definitely a you decision, and that's something that, everybody's mileage may vary. But when I talk to people about bug out and preparation, it's horrible to think about because, when society's good and we love our families and everything's fine, you'd never dream of leaving them. But, it's going to be a different world out there. And, it's just something to really think about. Next is one of the obviously most crucial things. It's going to be your medical and trauma kit. One of the main things that people forget in these kits is something for any kind of dental emergency. I have a little tube of Oragel in all the medical kits I carry because unfortunately, in the past I've been out on the road and had an absolutely horrific toothache, and just popping Tylenol or ibuprofen isn't good enough to get that toothache taken care of. So definitely don't forget something for your dental hygiene and also eye drops because like I said with the sand and things like that, depending on where you're at. Can get into your eyes. I've had issues with that before, with dust and stuff blowing into your eyes, and kind of takes you out of the fight pretty quick. Um, this is one of the areas that are essential. Something simple like a tourniquet, an Israeli bandage, compression pads. Also, like I said, your basic creature comforts, ibuprofen, Tylenol, Tums, things like that. Hydration tablets if you can fit them. These can be carried in a myriad of places. A lot of guys will have some kind of battle belt or plate carrier vest with a simple first aid kit on it, and then they'll have a larger first aid kit in their bag. um, that'll work. Just whatever is the fact that if you're bleeding out or if you come across some kind of medical emergency that you need to treat or treat yourself, you're actually able to retrieve those kits and those preps that you've taken rather than them being out of range to you. Personal hygiene is not only important, um, to keep yourself clean, obviously, but also it can be used as preventative medicine. So, you know, taking care of your feet, for instance, is going to help you prevent foot injuries. Taking care of your skin and washing your body and not letting sweat build up is going to help you avoid injuries and sores and things like that. So taking care of your personal hygiene is absolutely imperative. I'm not like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not going to get into real specifics because males and females need different things, and y'all are adults, so you should know what you need to wash your body and stay clean. Now we start getting into my favorite part of the bug out is the weapons and tools. Now let's go with tools first. I absolutely think everybody needs to have some kind of multi-tool. Obviously, Leatherman and Gerber make a wide range of multi-tools depending on how heavy and how many attachments you want to have on it. They usually range from 30 all the way up to $200. So one of those is essential, as you can see in the bottom of these pictures. I also am a big proponent of a machete and or a hatchet if you have the space and can stomach the weight of these extra items. Um, when we get to self-defense items, I absolutely think a handgun is absolutely necessary. I would highly suggest investing in a thigh-style holster that you can simply clip to your belt. The G-Code tactical holsters are great because you can clip them to your belt, and that way, the holster of the gun is not, and the gun is not riding up into your bag and stuff like that. It drops it down onto your thigh. It also has expandability platforms so you can actually hold additional magazines right there on the thigh holster in front of and behind the gun. Um, Also, if you live in a place that allows weapons to be purchased, I would highly recommend some kind of long gun. For me, in my personal uh, setup, that's an AR-15 style rifle chambered in 5.56. Your mileage may vary. You may want to do an AK-47. You may want to do a bolt action style rifle. You may want to do a semi-automatic rifle in 22 or 308 or some kind of other hunting caliber. So that's going to come down to kind of, again, if you live in a place where there's a lot of wild deer or wild moose or any kind of game that you can hunt to survive, you're probably going to want a different hunting style or hunting caliber round. Now, saying that, if that was the case for me, I would still go for an AR style rifle. It's called an AR-10 rather than AR-15. It's basically an AR platform. However, it's chambered in 308 rather than 5.56, and then you kind of have a cross between a hunting and self-defense weapon. If you ever watch the show Survivor, you know that fire equals life. Now, this is for warmth, your ability to cook, your ability to boil water. Now, is a campfire really necessary just to boil up some water? No. So you should also have some kind of portable stove with an ignition source and a fuel source that you can cook a simple meal on if you have to. What I'm talking about here is fire. So your fire starter, including lighters, matches, waterproof matches, stormproof matches, kindling, things of that nature. They can all be purchased relatively cheap. Same thing with lighters. If you can afford to splurge out and get a windproof, stormproof lighter, that's going to be a little bit more successful than your typical dollar store lighter. Now, keep in mind when your dollar store lighter runs out of fuel, what you can do is pop that metal cap off the front, and it opens up the flint, and you can still create a spark with it. So just because your lighter is out of fuel doesn't necessarily mean that it's out of commission totally. Now, when I say light, there's a couple of options. I like headlamps for camping, so I would definitely have some kind of lamp that you can wear on your head that allows your hands to be free and see what you're doing. I also have a couple hundred lumen stream light that is rechargeable, but obviously, in a situation I wouldn't expect to be able to recharge it. So Um, a battery that can, or excuse me, a light that can take batteries is probably a good idea. But like I said, I'm not gonna tell you what to go and do and hold your hand. I'm just giving you the categories that you need to think about so that you can go out and research and figure out what light is going to work best for you. Just really think about something that's going to last more than a couple hours. I'm going to touch on clothing just briefly, just because there is such a wide range depending on where you live and the time of year. But just make sure that you've got sunglasses and some kind of hat is going to be the most important. A good pair of socks, socks that aren't in a pack of 12 for $4. It's kind of socks that you pay $4, $5, $6 for one pair, and some good underwear that are going to avoid chafing are going to be your most important. Outer clothing, like I said, it depends on where you're at and the time of the year. I love polyesters and stuff like that. I try to stay away from cotton as much as possible. So I don't want to see a pair of blue jeans in your bug out bag, and stuff that's adaptable. So the REI style pants and the hiking style pants where you can change the pants into zippers, and something like I said, rugged that is going to be that's going to be able to withstand the category that you're in. Cool pants are great. It's spelled KUHL, for instance. We're getting close to the end now if you're still with me. So the next is going to be your trading post. And this is I think is an important category. As you can see in the picture here, we got some cash, some coins, some gold, some ammunition, and then some Crown Royal, it looks like, in there. So and a lot of these items are double back. So the ammunition, for instance, you might be carrying 300 rounds. That doesn't necessarily mean you need 200 rounds for you and then carry another 200 rounds to trade. I personally probably wouldn't trade ammunition for the rifle I have. One of the things I suggest is buying a brick of 22 long rifle ammunition. It's incredibly cheap and it's incredibly light. You could quite easily carry 100 rounds of 22 long rifle and not even know the difference. And that's a great item to trade out. When it comes to gold, yeah, of course, gold is going to work. Alcohol, cigarettes. Think like an inmate. Imagine yourself being in prison and thinking, if we don't really have any currency or our currency doesn't really mean anything anymore, what items am I going to be able to carry that are light and small that are still going to be of value to somebody else? So just, take a while to think about that. Um, don't go out and change up your whole life savings for gold coins or railroad bonds or something like that because, if whatever happens is fixable, you still want to have the value in those items after the fact. So just think about that when you're putting together a small pouch, with items that you're looking to trade. Last but not least is going to be your miscellaneous accessories. This can include 550 cord, a shemagh, a fishing kit, for instance, a battery charger, also available from Amazon, some super glue. These type of things that aren't big buys. They're the type of buys that you can go out and get for $1 or $2, and they're small, they're light, they're compact. You're going to be able to carry these in your pack without much interference with your main gear, but in a pinch, they're going to come in extremely handy and really help you along the way. So, things like zip ties, um, like I said, super glue, a battery pack. I bought a battery pack off Amazon for $30, I think, and it can charge my phone probably 8 or 9 times without needing to be recharged. So things like that are going to help you along the way. Um, just trying to think of anything else I missed. Wet wipes, obviously all that goes into personal hygiene. A lot of this stuff is covered by a category that we've already covered. Just like I said, make yourself comfortable and grab the stuff you need to succeed. Last but not least, guys, keep it small. Everything you buy, should be compact. Everything you buy should fit in your bag. You don't want to look like this guy and just absolutely be so weighed down by your gear that you can't even move. So, like I said, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. You're a trooper. Please comment anything below that you might want to add, anything that you think I missed. Like I said, I kept it pretty general because, I explained in the beginning of the video already. And so I don't want to see a bunch of stuff like, oh, you forgot a toothbrush. Oh, you forgot this. Well, I didn't really talk about a lot of specific stuff. This is about categories and getting your mind into the habit of thinking about prepping rather than just handing you a list to check down. So thanks for watching. Like I said, comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.